Hello and welcome to another Comic Roast. I'm your host, Scott. You can find me on Twitter at XOrsonX. And I'm here with Mike. You can find on Twitter at, Review and Roast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Review and Roast, or on Instagram at instagram.com/Review and Roast, or on Instagram.com/Star Wars Tabletop, which is where you can probably guess where we post a lot of Star Wars tabletop gaming nonsense.
I mean, it's not all nonsense, but most of it is.
Well, I mean, it's mostly nonsense.
Yep.
Because there's been quite a few times we've set up cheeseball photo shoots where I bring my fancy DSLR over there and then I sit on all the photos.
Like right now.
Yeah. Well, here's how it happens. I take them to work. I go through the photos because I have Photoshop at work, and then I go through and I start picking out the ones I want to upload, and then I start working on them, and then I start watching YouTube, and it's just it falls apart. I mean, I don't do that at work. What am I talking about? Anywho, what else do we got? Did we plug all the plugs?
We're good.
I think we did. All right, so today we are here to talk to you about Domino #1. Came out on April 11th, written by Gail Simone and penciled by David Baldion, and the cover artist was Greg Land. Obviously, it's a Marvel book, and obviously, we're going to go ahead and see if Mike is done reading it so that he can...
I'm good to go.
He's good to go. All right, well, why don't you tell us about the story of Domino?
I thought you were going to drop the intro.
Did I just do that?
Did you? Because...
What did I miss?
You would have read Deemed a Failure by the clandestine super soldier program known as Project Armageddon. Nina Thurman's mutant ability causes a random telekinetic phenomenon that effectively give her good luck. Using her gift, she operates as a renowned mercenary.
You know what? I'm literally on Marvel.com. That's not here.
It's in the back of the comic. I guess. But yeah.
Huh.
So that's fine.
Circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, being ignorant because I've read the #1 and this is all I know of Domino, and I'm assuming that you're just a genius.
I'm not. Actually, I'm by no means super versed. No other. She was around doing X-Force stuff, Cable, Deadpool. She's been affiliated in the likes of the quote-unquote mercenary Marvel stuff.
So am I going to get like internet bullied if I say this is kind of like almost like a female Deadpool?
We'll probably go back and we'll edit that part that you just said out because that was pretty stupid. Then, moving forward. No, there's it's...
Well, I mean,
it's accurate to the point of it's like they're all grouped.
They're
in
all
the same
mercs.
mercenary lot.
That's
right,
kind of.
yeah.
I wasn't trying to say that she's got the same fucking abilities. I'm just saying
because obviously
she's a merc.
in this book here, you'll see that she's working with a couple other female mercenaries. They go to a party, but then there's lots of heroes are involved. But basically, the setup for this book seems to be pretty cool, actually. So basically, somebody's gunning for her, probably for something she did. Long story short, that's the book, right?
I mean, yeah.
That's the start of the #1 and seems to be what is going to be this comic series' premise.
More or less.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Well, when it started out, I'm not going to give away anything here, but, basically it opens up with her staring at this dog and like, I can't have a dog. I'm never around. So don't you give me that look.
It's a little Domino-looking puppy, too.
And then immediately cuts away to what you find out really was only a day ago. Mm-hmm. She's in the jungles trying to solve some. They were hired to solve some crime.
Yeah, and like save some dude.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a setup kind of deal. But as she's working with Inez
Temple, aka Outlaw,
Yep.
aka Crazy Inez.
Yes, but don't call her Crazy Inez.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that.
You can only say that behind her back.
Right. So they go through this as she also kind of narrates, and within the first 4 or 5 pages, explains her ability about 6 times.
Right.
So
which is good though, because like you said, you don't really know nothing. You just know people cosplay Domino sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can't know all the comic people. It's not even possible.
Well, some people can.
Well, there's a lot of. I go to places. I'm like, I feel stupid because I don't know what that is, and I'm pretty sure 10 people do. But I don't know. And I've only seen her from Deadpool-related items, and back in the olden days, we had some X-Force comics rummaging around our collection between me and my brother.
It's my brother and I.
He used to have a pretty good stack of comics, actually.
All right, so as they move on, you find out, it's her quote-unquote birthday, which they didn't come right out and say it, but I took that to mean that it was the quote-unquote birthday of the day she turned into a mutant.
That is exactly right.
Which is why she was saying, okay, we all have these, as mutants, we all have these birthdays, but we never celebrate them. Mm-hmm. Well, they are. She gets, they get back to the apartment, and boom, there's a big surprise party. And so I'm thinking more or less like, is this going to be like Marvel's answer to, I guess, the Harley Quinn comics? Because the current Harley Quinn comics, I mean, she's living on Long Island or living in Jersey, got the apartment on the pier. I mean, it's like real fucking life.
Right.
As opposed to nonstop action.
I don't know. I think this one's going more the kind of like that, but in a whodunit fashion. You know what I mean? Like somebody's gunning for when her and Outlaw go for the first to rescue that dude. They get down there, blah blah blah. Well, in his pocket or in his hand or something like that, he had a broken domino.
Yes.
So, and that was like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, a little on the nose, but whatever. So the point is, that comes up again later.
Yes.
When she finally meets who we believe is Topaz, who is seemingly behind all this, who Deadpool actually tells her, like, he says, oh, yeah, Topaz has a contract on you, Rachel being Diamondback, who was also part of the group.
Yep.
And she's like, Topaz? Never heard of her. And Deadpool says, that's because she didn't want you to.
Right, now
that you
her
know
thing.
that she knows you, you're all fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, they use like the hashtag and question mark and exclamation points.
Yes.
But you get the point. So, yeah, I mean, really, that's it. Honestly, we can jump right into the fact that I actually, when you read it, you're not going to catch all the comedic hits that a Deadpool comic has, but honestly, the story's really well written, I think. I think it's set up well for a good series of who knows what length. And the art by, what was his name?
Yep.
That guy?
I don't know. You got the book in front of you.
Yeah, I do. I'll have to double check, but the art is honestly...
Well, it was drawn by David Baldion.
David Baldion.
Yeah.
So, between him and, I'm guessing that's Jesus Abertov.
Who is not credited on Marvel.com.
He's the colorist.
Nice.
Honestly, I love the way the book looks.
Yeah,
really.
No, the book looks fantastic. And the nice thing about it...
Like, for a Marvel thing, it feels real, like, Artist Alley-ish, honestly.
Yeah, almost.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It feels like somebody took their time and, like... I mean, I'm not saying Marvel just mass produces, but they mass produce a lot of
That's
stuff.
kind of their thing,
I mean, you hear those guys talking at Comic-Cons and stuff about being, like, under a deadline where they got to, like, crank some shit out by Tuesday. And they're like, yeah, I just, like, whipped it up. You know, where this one, it has the feel of, like, they had given this group that working on this comic, I feel like they gave them time to put it all together. And I think the timing of it coming out right now, obviously we're reading this, and Deadpool 2 is coming out with the first ever appearance of her on the big screen, which, honestly, I think this movie's going to be the greatest movie in the history of movie-going stuff. Trust me. Trust me. Don't go see it, then. You stay home. It's going to be awesome.
I don't know. Have you seen, like...
I've seen all the stuff.
I'm trying to think of a terrible movie off the top of my head.
Oh.
Well, and it just goes back to, something that, at least on this podcast, I'm not sure if you and I have gone at great lengths, but I know we're back when Brian and Damien and Chris were all on here, we would talk about how...
What are days?
Yeah, right, when we actually did this regularly. We would talk at length about how a lot of number ones, they don't put enough information in there to really hook the reader. You know what I mean? And at first I almost slightly had that feel, but then, like you said, when Topaz shows up near the end, and then you're like, okay, so now I get why they were pushing so much to explain her powers in the beginning of this book.
Right.
And now, like, the only thing you can be left with after you finish it is, what?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like,
literally. This is one of those things. It's like the greatest reason the best thing about Netflix coming out with a series where you get all 8 episodes is you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
Like, I finished this book and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I finally picked, not that I have 20 different series that I hate, but I finally picked one up where I'm like, I'd read 11 in a row right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, kind of how I do with some of the Star Wars ones. I actually, like, the all-new Wolverine, I read that one, but I actually always save myself, like, 3 in a row. You know what I mean? Where I don't think I'm going to want to wait for 3 in a row on this one. I'll probably read the next one right away, and then maybe I'll stack a couple. But this is one of those books that are definitely it'll be trade-worthy when it's out. I mean, no doubt. I mean, the first 5 of this one are set up to be pretty good, really. And, again, the timing with her current relativity about to spike, it's a good time to pick it up, I think. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and, not to, keep the endless plugs with certain people, but I know we've all talked at great length about Gail Simone before. I mean, she's just, when it comes to comics, she's kind of like one of the tops right now, you know what I mean? And it shows in this book.
What else is she writing right now?
Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I mean, in the past, I mean, she's done everything from Birds of Prey to Deadpool to, I mean, she's...
the current DC Birds of Prey is actually pretty good. We should actually put that on the list. Speaking of Birds of Prey, that's all I got for that, too.
Sweet, yeah. I had the list in front of me a second ago, but I just closed the tab. But she, she's very, very well known, let's put it that way, and for good reason. And it shows in this book.
Oh, and actually, Gail, David, and Jesus are actually credited on the cover of the book, actually. Yeah. Now that I just closed it. So.
They usually are.
Like you said, that Jesus Bertov wasn't on the Marvel side.
I'm still literally looking at it right here, and he's not on here, which is kind of lame.
So, and side note, I'm also completely unfamiliar with Outlaw. I might have seen her before a decade ago as a partner in a book, and I'm completely unfamiliar with Diamondback as well. But seems like it might be a pretty fun group to watch.
Oh yeah,
and then
absolutely.
the guy's name was Adalbert, the guy they saved. So I'm wondering if they're kind of, because they make a comment. I think Diamondback makes a comment to Domino about picking up strays, because they end up bringing this Adalbert, the guy that they saved from the original, to the birthday party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was kind of like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. And he's kind of like a frumpy, 40-year-old dude, like, hanging out with, like, hot... Oh, when they go to save him? And he's like, you guys are, like, mutants or something? He's like, man, I thought you guys were models. But anywho, yeah, I actually really like the book. I'm ready to be honest, I'm going to go ahead and say there's not really anything I don't like about it. I don't know if you got anything off the top of your dome.
No,
there's nothing. Is it the greatest #1 comic I've ever read in my life? Probably. Can I find anything wrong with it? Honestly, not really. I mean, the same old, like, jokingly, like, yeah, there wasn't enough of it.
Well, like I said in the beginning, it's. I was on the road of. They're going to slightly touch on some action, and it's going to be her sitting in her apartment, like, at a birthday party. This is kind of, I know where this is going. Mm-hmm. And I was wrong, which is a great twist for me. You know what I mean? It definitely leaves you wanting more, which is something that, it's not, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash a lot of writers out there, but it's not easy to do just in a one-issue book. Mm-hmm. But when you can do it and do it well, I mean, that's
And I think this is going to hook people that aren't, I mean, really, it'd be hard for anybody to say they're super familiar with Domino other than the look, and that is 80% in thanks to cosplayers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, most regular people wouldn't even know. Even if, like I said, even if you had read some comics back in the day, she wasn't always, I mean, she had her own book or whatever, but she wasn't always forefront. Like you and I were talking earlier before we started this, I'm like, I don't even remember where her debut was, so I had to actually look it up, and it was X-Force number 8. Because I actually, as dumb as I am, I thought she debuted in New Mutants 98 with Deadpool, but she was just in it. She was already around town. Because I think she was running around with Cable before that for like a hot minute. But anyways, that's all I got.
Yeah, it's possible. I have no idea. I didn't grow up on the comics. I was always the guy like, man, I'd like to, but
I'm busy skating.
I feel like those guys are mean to people that don't know anything.
Fuck you.
Right? Fucking elitist comic book guys. But anywho, that's another conversation we've had many a times before on this show. So, moving forward, we will just, I'm assuming we're going to continue this. You know what I mean?
Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we're going to keep reading it.
I might just add it to my box next time I go.
I think I threw it right on the list without... Oh, actually, no, I don't even know if I put it on my list because I just wanted to grab it just in case it totally blew, but
Yeah.
I didn't really think it was gonna, but I had no idea.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and number?
Yeah, you know what? I've been torn lately on the numbering system because it's like, man, just everything... I hate to say it, but I feel like everything we've been reading and watching and doing has been entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Well, it sucks when you
I haven't really
when you focus mainly on stuff that you like.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's in our wheelhouse, so that's the whole thing. It's not like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm an 8.5.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
just
like it a lot. So
right there and right there, 8.5.
Dope.
It's a solid book. Anyone familiar with Gail Simone, you won't be disappointed.
yeah, and I mean, at the rate it's going, by the time we finish it, by the time the last one comes out, I mean, it's gonna. I almost can't imagine it wavering from that in a downward fashion. I mean, it would stay. I can't picture this thing being anywhere less than an 8 or maybe around a 9. I don't think it's gonna jump to 10 status or nothing.
It's one of those I'd like to say I'll just wait for the trade, but I know I'll just never buy it. So
yeah,
I mean, 'tis what it is, and that point. But there you go. There you have it. Domino number 1. Marvel just issue 2 will be out.
Just came out.
Yeah, I think issue 2 is coming next week, I believe.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's definitely worth it. And you can find me on the Twittens at XOrsonX, and you can find Mike on the Twittens at Review and Roast. Send all hate mail to Mike, please.
Yep.
You can find us on Facebook if you haven't liked us. Most people pretty much have. But if you one or two lazos out there, why don't you head over to Facebook.com/Review and Roast and give us a like.
Yeah, and if you hashtag Review and Roast on any of the socials,
you'll find us.
It's there.
You'll find all kinds of stuff. And don't forget, we also have, the Movie Roast podcast. We have Comic Roast. We have Review and Roast Presents. We actually have another interview coming out this week with a surprise guest.
Yeah, it's gonna be right before or right after this podcast happens. So
Yeah, it was super fun. So look for that. And then I believe we're going to be having Mr. Doherty on soon, too.
I was going to ask you about that, to be honest. The other day I was thinking if you reached out to him or not yet.
I have not. I was waiting for him to come. I mean, we talk to the guy every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and
we were talking about that
Let us
Kickstarter
know when
thing,
you're
so-
ready. So
yeah.
I know it's coming up, so we'll have to get in touch. But anywho,
Yep.
that's the goods, and I don't know what rhymes with goods, so we'll just leave it there.